Hi, welcome to my set of videos. This is Patricia Ann Landon Regali, Chief Little Flower, coming at you from the trenches of having been targeted. I am a targeted individual that have been targeted since about the age of 25 for about a couple of years. Then it would recess into the background on and off until the year of COVID, about 2020, whenever gang stalking had reemerged in full force and full effect. At the time of this recording, it is November 2024, and the gang stalking, the PSYOP assignments still continue. And so my videos they're about my experiences as a targeted individual. I had been railroaded out of a successful and thriving career as a paramedic. I've been a paramedic for about 13 years before I walked away from my profession as a paramedic for two reasons. The first one was so I could speak freely about being heavily targeted and gang stalked in medical facilities by other medical professionals. If I were to hold a job in the medical world, that would be a huge conflict of interest for me and any potential employer. And so I have a passion for sharing this with the world because what's happened to me can happen to anybody. And if we were to shrink in fear, how would anybody ever rise up to protect themselves and to arm themselves with the knowledge of objective data? And additionally, since I was being targeted in the medical world, I knew it was a matter of time before somebody was paid to bear false accusations against my license. In other words, it was a matter of time before people would just make false accusations on my license. So those were the two reasons why I had nobly walked away from my career as a paramedic. And so I decided not to renew my license, because if my license was inert and non-viable, nobody could make any accusation against it. So I stayed 10 steps ahead of the community-based harassment. And so these videos are about my thoughts, they're about my experiences as a heavily targeted individual. So thank you for stopping. Hey, so it's Little Flower. How's everybody's November going? You know, I was just pondering, if you ever thought you had like a normal nuts and bolts may vary between family to family, a normal family. It's not that money changes anybody, but it brings out who people really are. You think you have a set of ethics, normalcy, boundaries, so to speak, which you wouldn't do or would do. Say you see somebody at risk of being toted away to a concentration camp during World War II, the humanitarians would have found a way to help provide safety, sanctuary, right down to making a safe space within secret components of one's homestead, such as Anne Frank. You know, we hear a lot about Aunt Frank, sure, but how about the family that had housed her? You know, I read the book back in like maybe junior high, whatever. She was my hero back then. She's my hero today. I have to revisit the story, but the family that held them up risked a lot to do it, risked their own families, risked their own lives to do it. And then, do you think if that family had been given money, they threw money at the family that was holding up Anne Frank's family to run dirty PSYOP assignments on them, Do you think they would have? I ask because it matters. I have family that had been throwing money to psyop me, to gang stalk me. Yeah, those family has made money their god. And, I don't hate them or anything. I wish for them to heal. I mean, because if you heal, you have to do shadow work. You go through the dark night of the soul. It's a good old purging, from the inside out. And that's all I ever want for anybody is for them to heal, because you know what? You acted dirty to me. You played your dirty psyop games. Dude, that's between you and your devil and whoever you call a god. Because I'm not going to burden myself down with somebody else's stupidity, of their torrent of hate, of which, for most of you gang stalkers, you haven't even had a decent conversation with any of your targets to know them well enough on whether or not you hate them, love them, like them, or indifferent about them. But goddamn, if you won't hate somebody quick enough, if Satan threw money at you to get you to see things his way, well, that's alive in our world. It's called treason, Treason. Look it up. The government the part of the government that sanctions this insidious idiocracy is the treason part of the government. You remember that government that passed out them smallpox blankets to Dominions on the Oregon Trail of Tears? Well, they're still there. They just got more stealth and more dope, and have learned to leverage your own greed and your own ego against you. Filthy gang stalkers. So, that's how you know what you're really dealing with with a person. If somebody were offered the temptation to come sideways at somebody for cash, for drugs, for a homestead, for a car, for everybody that has had participated in it and continues to participate in it, you built all of that off a house of a deck of cards. You built it on the demise of somebody. You built it on the detriment of somebody to get fake rich. Now, you don't think that the Most High was going to let everybody get away with it forever, did you? Because if you do, you're going to be sorely disappointed when those fake riches start to crumble around you like a goddamn batch of cheese. Some of the good cheese. But here I thought I had a normal family. Okay, I would say normal, okay? Referencing my biological family that I did not give birth to. But the ones that I married, holy shit, it was like, okay, they kind of hated me without, they always had some fucked up reason they would never tell me about. Because their modus operandi, their MO, was to poison the minds of everybody else around me. And if you're the kind of person that can have your mind infected with somebody else's toxins, bitch, you're a liability. I don't need you. I prefer the hearty of hearts. It's not to say you wouldn't listen to him, but let's put it this way. If you're backstabbing somebody with some hellish shit, you need to pull them into the room and talk your shit in front of them. let alone bring all of your shit to them. Yep, that's where the buck stops. Because the whole point is to infect the minds around somebody to make them hate. Oh, goddamn, if you throw money into the equation, you can get any weak as fuck bitch for hire. Hate for hire. That's what you gang stalkers are. When you play your stupid little psyop assignments. You want to play your psyop assignment, bitch? You go right on ahead. Because I don't take it up with you. You take it up with my God. You take it up with the Lord Jesus Christ. Vengeance belongs to God. And whenever he vindicates those who subscribe to him, it's going to be so big and beautiful, nobody could ever have wrought anything with their own hands more grand than the Most High. But here I am thinking my family is like normal. First off, whenever they get pissed off at me, the number one rule is tell everybody except Little Flower. Tell everybody except Little Flower. And to everybody that bought into it without coming to tell Little Flower shit, you deserve what you get. Which is not my world. I don't have room and time for those who are gossip mongers that just love to gossip, but never bring in a healthy sense of reason by hashing it out with the person. Best way to do it is to write a letter, commit it to paper. You know, because in my mind, if I'm dealing with a unknown, backstabbing, well-versed, manipulative person, the last thing I want to do is have a conversation with you. But if you want to commit it to paper, that way calm minds prevail and you can pick it up when you want. You can set it down when you want. You can go about it at your own pace and then write back. That's healthy. And if you even want to read the letter, that's smashingly healthy. But a good sign of a megalomaniac, psychotic, narcissist, the last thing they ever want to do is commit any one story to paper. Oh, can't commit it to paper? You got no room in my life. Go on about your business. And God forbid, I don't want anything to do with you either. So it's like, that's twofold there. But, yeah, they didn't like to, it was like you had to figure out what they were mad about. I'm like, bitch, I'm not going to figure it out. You can stay mad all you want. But if you want to hash it out like a grown adult, that's a different story. Write it down. Put it in paper. That way we can, exchange at a calm level. But, yeah, with all this gang stalking, all the family members that didn't want to come to me with their grievances, didn't want to commit it to paper with their grievances. Well, guess who was the number one up to bat in the goddamn gang stalking psyop assignment? Auschwitz 2.0. And I thought they were just mild-mannered haters. I had no idea. They were hate for hire. But such is life, and we move on. Total hate for hire. But, yeah, I'm all like, but the cool thing is that at the nitty-gritty of it, bare bolts, bare nuts, if you will, no, nuts and bolts, is that if you love Jesus, if you have a heart of the Christ conscience, they're going to hate you too. You know, if misery loves company, I'm all like, well, they hated Jesus. No wonder they hate me. I find a lot of comfort in that. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. It all goes to show, you know, if it's an inverse. You know, if you are of the world will love you. If you are not of the world will hate you. Because we are to be in this world, but not of it. We're to have God inside our hearts. And just because we're in this world, we don't have to be of it. But I think the more expansion-minded pack would be, bitch, if you ain't a part of the world, it's cool. Because we're supposed to be in it, not of it. But be prepared to have everybody else who are of the world hate the fuck out of you. And if you're gang stalked, they're going to throw money at idiots that are of the world to come at you. That's a broader minded expansion pack of awareness. But yeah, I'm like, okay. It was like growing up with my kid sister, you know, there are a couple of times I don't feel like really talking about right now, but that would tip me off with like, excuse me? How? Her? She did that? Wow. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But expand on that. Well, I thought whatever bone these people had to pick with me would stop there. I had no idea they would try to build empires off my demise, off my juicy $1 billion DNA. But yeah, man, I'm all like, normal people don't go gang stalking anybody. Because you do realize, whenever you participate in all of this, PSYOP assignments, that means you ain't got no integrity. You ain't got no integrity. You lack dignity for yourself by living ethically minded upright. Just because you think you can get away with your PSYOP assignments. Number one, when you run the game, I know. I won't call you out on it. I give you to God. And I call harsh judgment on you and instant karma. But even then, I never have to sully my own fingers in retribution or vengeance. That belongs to God. And I'm all like, Abba, look what they did. I tell on all of you motherfuckers. But if anybody were to hit reset, get right with yourselves, turn a new leaf, and get your generation out of the dirt, especially for you elders, you need to right the wrongs for your salvation. Because if you taught your younger generation to partake in the PSYOP assignments, number one, what you did was that you fostered psychosis. You fostered being psychotic. You taught them how to bend the will of morality and ethics in their own psychosis to get what they want. You didn't teach them morality. What you taught was how to cherry pick ethics and morality based on a showmanship, based on a mask. And that's your one-way ticket to hell, my loves. Even if you don't believe in a hell, there is the lowest vibratory frequency throughout the dominion and the cosmos. All you gang stalkers, you all are dead and don't even know it. So whenever your avatar kicks out from underneath you, you get sucked in to the lowest vibratory frequency throughout dominion. Some people call it a hell. You can call it what you want, but it's not anything pleasant. So, but it's never too late to tell the truth and to right the wrongs and try to build into an ethical, upright morality of generations. But if you don't, your children have to pay off your debts. But I'm just all like, man, this gang stalking really blew up families. But honestly, if you were already throwed with your moral compass being askew, all it did was just feed your ego and materialism. I'm like, how does that work? You psyop somebody, take advantage of their kindness, exploit their kindness, so you can get a couple bucks. Aren't you afraid that the money you buy, that food that you buy with that money, is not going to choke you out? Buy any cars, that it won't crash and burn you? Buy any houses, and that it wouldn't destroy you? Well, if you thought you had a normal family, just see how they act whenever money is in the mix. There's a lot of truth bombs that'll be coming out. And even the quiet ones that you thought were of moral decency, turns out not so much. But that's what happens whenever the wheat is separated from the chaff. But nonetheless, just food for thought, you know. I had no idea there was such wretchedness upon me. Otherwise, the gang stalking wouldn't be happening. But apparently, that's a pandemic. All of these egos being thrown money to psyop somebody, to come up off of somebody else's detriment. That is the true version of what a leech is. Anyways, have a good one.